Introducing coping methods that can be utilized to support ourselves and victims of victim blaming, we have Mary Ann Peck. Mrs. Peck is a small business owner of a nonprofit organization known as Malanga Creative Co. The foundation of her business is that the notion of life is a journey. She can lead you, your company, or your nonprofit on a journey to accomplish your professional and personal objectives through writing and workshop. Please be advised that she asks us to have a piece of paper or a note app to be able to participate in a journaling activity that she has prepared for us.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mary Peck. This presentation is about writing to cope with victim blaming. So, okay, who am I? I'm Mary Ann Peck. I'm a teacher, a fiction writer, and I'm the owner of Malanga Creative Co., which is a small business on island. Through my business, I offer writing services and workshop facilitation services, all with the purpose of helping people on the journey to reach their goals. And this year, I'm working with the Alliance to offer the Healing Through Writing workshop, which focuses on using meditation, journaling, and creative writing like poetry to heal from trauma, heal from the stresses that life has brought. Please note, I'm not a mental health professional. I'm a writer. I'm an educator. I'm not a therapist. I'm just here to provide all of the attendees with some possible ways to cope with stress, cope with trauma, and to use writing to own your story. All right, so before we start, let's take a moment to focus on our breath. So I want everyone to, and I know we did this at the beginning of this summit. I really enjoyed the wellness activity at the beginning. It was wonderful. And I'd like just to kind of recenter after the first couple of presentations. I'd like for us just to close our eyes, sit comfortably, all right? If you need to, move your shoulders, roll your neck around, find a comfortable position. Let's sit, and let's everyone close our eyes and take a deep breath in and out. A deep breath in and out. Let's breathe in peace. Breathe out stress. Breathe in safety. Breathe out fear. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. All right. Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. All right. Goodness gracious. Oh, there we go. All right. So now that we've taken a moment for ourselves, let's move into the rest of this presentation. What is victim blaming? As the previous speakers have both addressed, victim blaming is what happens beyond the initial trauma. Beyond the initial trauma, survivors of sexual assault, domestic violence, and stalking have to deal with a variety of stressors. One of these is victim blaming. Victim blaming happens when other people shift the story of a survivor's trauma and place blame on the survivor rather than the perpetrator. So at the core of victim blaming is this idea that other people are attempting to shift the story of what happened. Some examples of victim blaming that previous speakers have given. I have extras. What were you wearing? Why did you wait so long to report your assault? Did you provoke your attacker? Why didn't you fight back more? They would never do something like that. You must be lying. I don't believe you. You don't have any proof. These are all These and so many other statements are things that are heard by survivors all over the world all the time. It is a very normal occurrence, and it's a heart-wrenching occurrence. So at this point in this summit, we all know what victim blaming is, and we've seen a lot of different examples of it. Oh, goodness. Okay. And the purpose of this presentation is to talk about, if you are experiencing victim blaming, how can you cope with that experience? When you're dealing with victim blaming, you're dealing with people trying to rewrite your story. Writing in a journal or publishing your writing in a more public setting can help you to reclaim your story despite what other people that are around you are saying. Even if you never share your writing with another person, the act of journaling can give you a safe space to own your story. This is something that in the Healing Through Writing workshop that I'm doing with the Alliance, this is the main goal of that workshop, and it's the goal of this presentation here, is to use writing to create a safe space for you to share what your story is. Even if no one else ever reads it or sees it, the act of getting it out can be helpful. So the next slide. So how to start journaling. When building a writing habit, you don't have to write for hours at a time. You don't have to write at the same time every day. To start, try writing for 5 minutes each day. After a while, you can increase your writing time if you feel that will help you to process your feelings and experiences better. View your writing time as a safe place for self-care and expression. Your writing time, your journaling time, is not a time for you to be judging yourself over the fact that you didn't listen to your high school English teacher enough and you've forgotten rules of grammar. That's not the time for that. Writing should be about getting to know yourself better, getting your thoughts out on the page, and it's about healing. It's not about having perfect sentences or writing something that is perfect that other people should read. Taking a couple of minutes just to write, that's the start of the habit. All right, next slide. So, types of writing. These are all types of writing that we cover in the Healing Through Writing workshop that I'm doing with the Alliance in 2023 and 2024. But I just thought we'd go over a couple of options if you wanted to start writing as a way to process the trauma that can come from an assault or abuse, and also the trauma that can come from victim blaming itself. There are many different kinds of journaling you can use to cope with victim blaming and own your story. The first one is stream of consciousness journaling. Stream of consciousness journaling is when you are writing the thoughts in your head exactly as they occur in your head. You get a piece of paper and you start writing. If your thought cuts out mid-sentence, then stop writing mid-sentence and start a new thought. If your thoughts are about your trauma, okay. If your thoughts are about what you need to buy from the grocery store tomorrow, that's also okay. The goal of stream of consciousness writing is not to judge your thoughts as good or bad. It's just to write your thoughts as they occur, the reality of what's going on in your head. It's a great way to get to know yourself better and also to identify some thought patterns that are happening that maybe you weren't consciously recognizing. Another kind of journaling is reflective or prompted journaling. This is something we're going to be practicing during this presentation today. So this, a stream of consciousness journaling is focused entirely on the present. Reflective or prompted journaling is when you are looking back at the past or looking forward to the future. A lot of times this kind of writing is done with a prompt, which I'm going to be giving you guys soon, a prompt to get you writing a little bit. There's dream journaling, which involves keeping a journal by your bed and writing about your dreams when you wake up. This can help kind of give you a little window into what your subconscious is saying. Gratitude journaling is a great way to acknowledge the small things that happen every single day and to kind of pay attention to the details. You can also explore writing poetry or fiction as a more creative expression of your feelings. So, one thing we do in the Healing Through Writing workshop is we write poetry. And I think that poetry in particular really lends itself to a very vivid expression of feeling. So, if you want to move past journaling and into a more creative expression, then writing poetry or writing fiction inspired by your life experiences or by the feelings you've been feeling, they're great ways to get into writing. Next slide. So today we are going to do a little bit of writing. I know you guys probably didn't come here with the expectation that I'd be giving you an assignment, but here I am. I want you to get out a piece of paper and a pen, open up a Word doc or a Google Doc, or get out the Notes app on your phone, whatever you need to do. And I want you to write a letter to your past self. What support did your past self need? What guidance can you now offer to your past self? If you are a survivor of trauma, you can write a letter to yourself, the you that was going through that. If you want to write a letter to yourself at 15, yourself at 8, yourself at 52, whatever version of your past self you want to write to, I want to just take a couple minutes and I'm going to be quiet. We're just going to take a couple minutes and do a bit of writing, okay? All right. I'm going to take another minute or two to get your thoughts out, and we'll go over some more writing prompts that you can use in the following days. And then I'd like to open up the discussion just in case anyone wants to share what they wrote. I'd love to hear what you write. All right. If you'd like to keep writing while we go over the next slide, you feel free to. Yeah, if you can move to the next slide. Thank you. some helpful writing prompts to get you started. If you are interested in starting a bit of a journaling habit as a way to cope with victim blaming, here are a few writing prompts that I think could get you started. There's enough here for you to write every day for the next week. Number 1 is, what does strength mean to you? Number 2, write about a time someone blamed you for your trauma. How did you respond? Number 3, write a letter to someone who blamed you for your trauma. What do you wish they knew? Number 4, when was the last time you felt proud of yourself? I don't think people take enough time to feel proud of themselves for things, even the little things. So I want you to take a moment and do that. Number 5, what does self-care mean to you? And 6, what do you love most about yourself? These are just a few examples that I think, could get you guys writing a little more. All right, next slide. All right. We will now take a few minutes for Q&A and sharing. During this time, you can share what you wrote in response to the writing prompt or ask questions about how journaling can be a tool for healing. I've talked enough. It's your turn. And before we do open things up, if there are any, comments or whatever, if we could go to the next slide. I did want to say, if you don't feel comfortable sharing what you wrote in a public forum like this, but you do want to share, please, or if you have any questions or anything that, if you'd just like to reach out, please feel free to reach out. I put my email on here, malangacreativeco@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from any of you who want to reach out. And of course, also the Alliance is absolutely here. The team at the Alliance is amazing, and they're here to provide any information you need about possible workshops open to the community, anything like that. So now I'd love to hear any comments, questions. I'd love to hear what you wrote, maybe a letter to your past self, whatever you'd like to share.
I will share.
Okay.
Well, I don't really have much to share, but I think for the first question, when you asked what support did your past self need, I actually had a hard time writing this letter to myself, which is kind of funny because I've gone through this with you before, just in the writing sessions, and I think even till now, like I still have a hard time. I guess it's just identifying what it is that I need, and I think just acknowledging that, there is trauma, there is things that happen in the past, and just understanding that I did need certain things to just help me cope with things that I've been through. So I didn't write what kind of support I needed for my past self. But what I did write was, what guidance can you offer? And even though I'm having a hard time writing about what I could have used or what support I needed in the past, I know how I can support myself now, or how I can support others. And a lot of it's just really just being present.
Okay.
And with work, we do a lot of wellness exercises. And sometimes I respond that what I'm feeling and where I'm at mentally, emotionally, is I'm present. And a lot of people is just like, I have friends who go through stuff, and I don't always indulge into their story, but I just let them know that I'm here now. And whatever you're feeling, it's all about validating their thoughts and their feelings. And I'm really just like, you don't even have to say anything to me. Like, I'm just here. But if you're open to sharing what it is that you're going through, or, I'm just there presently for you.
Yeah.
I think I'm a great listener. I don't know if anyone can see, but I have like a recliner right in the back. And I've always shared that anyone who who just needs a safe space to just feel what they're feeling and be themselves, you're more than welcome to sit in my office and just, be here with me. Sometimes it's just someone being present, not saying anything it's helpful.
Yes, absolutely.
So to me, the only guidance I can offer is just being present where you're at, where you're feeling, and if you need somebody to sing karaoke and dance with you, like I'm a girl, or just go eat. Like I'm there. So it's just being there to support, knowing that letting others know that you are capable and able to be there when you're needed, to listen or not listen, whatever, just be there. And I think maybe that's what I need, just someone to just be there. No
Mm.
judgments. No judgments. No, sometimes I don't want to hear your advice. And sometimes people just seeing you is enough.
Yeah. I think that you bring up an excellent point about just being present. And I think that if anyone in their current situation, if they don't feel like they can open up to someone else, to have someone else be present for them, or if you aren't ready to talk about your trauma with someone else, you just don't want to open up, even though you feel like you need to be present in the moment, then I think that journaling and writing is a great way to, at least in some way, provide that presentness for yourself, to sit in the current moment with yourself and take a moment just to write. I think that being present is such great guidance that you could offer. And I think your writing is also a great example of how journaling doesn't always have to stick with the prompt, doesn't have to stick with what you initially sat down to start writing. It can go in a totally different direction, and that's okay. And I love that. Thank you so much for sharing.
All right, I just have one last comment to make
Of
before
course, of
I
course.
kind of close off. I think I had a hard time with this was because I think it's important that everyone also uh, understands this, that when it comes to victim blaming, sometimes it's not just about others blaming the victim. It's you blaming yourself.
Absolutely.
And, I think that's where I struggled with writing to my past self. There's part of me that the things that I've been through, I still blame myself.
Mm.
And I think that is just really hard to pull yourself out of. So, I'm just listening to everyone's presentation and the things that they're sharing. And, I'm learning a lot from everyone. But I think it's also important that we understand that you yourself, we are our worst critics.
Yes.
But once we are able to pull ourselves out of that thought that we are to blame, then are we able to heal?
Yes.
But I'm still going through it. But even though I say it to others, I'm still trying to kind of grasp onto that. But it's never your fault.
No, it's not your fault. I need everyone to just kind of really internalize that right now. Everyone listening to this, it is not your fault. Okay? That's something a lot of survivors deal with. It's something I dealt with. Feeling like it is your fault, like there's something you could have done to stop it. That is not the case. And I think that the same thing that causes other people to blame you as the victim, I think that's the same thing, this societal idea that it's your fault. I think we internalize that. We say, yes, it was my fault. So try to use writing or journaling, poetry, whatever you need. Try to use that to help yourself accept the reality of what happened, accept that it was not your fault. And it might take a while. This is the kind of thing that takes some practice, not talking to yourself in a way that places the blame on you. But even if you take a couple minutes every day just to write about it, eventually your thinking might change, might get out of that habit of blaming yourself. It's a very hard habit to break, but eventually you might be able to break it. Are there any comments from Facebook or any other questions or anyone else who'd like to share?
I'll share.
Oh, thank you, Nani.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. The work exercise was really powerful because it allowed me to just stop and take a minute, right, from everything that's going on. I'm multitasking, doing a bunch of different stuff. And what I felt inside was I needed to write this letter just because of what I'm going through right now. And it was like, dear beautiful light, you have always shined bright, even on the darkest of days. You cannot change the past. You can only learn the lesson from it, share the wisdom, and continue to dance with the winds. Just know you will always shine bright regardless.
Wow. Oh, Nani, that's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that exercise. We need to do more exercises during a workday and during life.
I think it's great. Even just taking a couple of minutes, you know, I mean, for this summit, all I gave y'all was a couple of minutes. That's all I gave you. But I mean, oh my gosh, look what came out of those couple of minutes. Thank you so much, Nani. Thank you for sharing. Is there anyone else who'd like to share? I'd love to hear what anyone else wrote, if you feel comfortable with it.
I'd like to share.
Okay, hello, Mom.
Hi, Mary. I attempted to write a letter to myself, but on what support I would have needed as my past self, and I ended up with a list of things that I just wish someone or myself had known during those rough times. I wish someone had taught me the importance of confidence. Instead of worrying about what people are saying and worrying about what they think, I wish someone had told me the importance of putting myself first and being well. I wish the importance of mental health was widely discussed more, and options and opportunities such as this was able, to come around during those times. Opportunities such as this one is what I'm talking about. Be able to come here and listen in and have discussions. I wish this kind of space was provided to someone like me when I was a teenager. I felt like it could have helped me or someone like me more. I always say that the youth these days are so fortunate to have people like, for example, yourself, Mary, the presenters here today, like Jaylene, Tia, Dr. Queenie, and that are offering these spaces, that are talking about these issues, so that way you don't feel alone. And that's how I used to feel, suffering from anxiety and depression. I often thought that I was a normal until I realized that we're only human, and depression and anxiety are human feelings. And being able to work in a space that I work in now, I'm thankful that the Alliance encourages wellness, and mental health is important. And I'm allowed to talk about my feelings. I'm allowed to feel and take my time, and come back when I'm well. But I also wrote down that I wouldn't have been the person that I am today, or I wouldn't be able to be me without going through all that trauma and difficulties and obstacles that I had to face in the past. So um, I think the summary of it all is I wish I had someone like me, the person that I am now, when I was going through a lot of things in the past. But that is all I have to share. Thanks, Mary.
Thank you so much, Monica. I love what you said about how you wish you had someone like you. I think that's such a wonderful expression of how much you've grown over the years since that initial trauma. I think that I feel the same way leading the Healing Through Writing workshops with the Alliance. It's been incredibly healing for this part of me in the back of my brain who wishes I'd been able to go to something like that, or had someone talk me through maybe writing out some of the things that had happened to me. And I think it's kind of nice to acknowledge that you've grown in such a way that you are now the person that you could have used back then. And I think that that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Monica. Thank you for sharing. Is there anyone else who'd like to share? We've had such wonderful insights from people so far. This has been great. And like I said, if you don't want to share in a public space, that is completely understandable. But please feel free to email me your thoughts. If you'd like to share with somebody, I'm always open to hearing from you. And your thoughts would not be shared with anyone else.
I guess I'll share since nobody else is
All right,
sharing.
thank you, Patrick.
Sure. So I mean, I thought this was a cool activity because I was just on TikTok, like I think it was last week, and I saw this TikTok that said something like, "My therapist said to like step into this room and speak your old room and speak to your old self, and what are the things that you would want to speak to your old self." So I thought about it. So it was cool that now we're actually writing about it today. And I feel like I wrote a lot. I don't know. Maybe I had so much to say to my younger self. And I wrote, "Dear past self, don't worry and stress yourself out about what might seem like the end of the world. Everything you're experiencing will be a step closer to many more beautiful moments and blessings. Continue to care and be passionate. Don't be too hard on yourself. Your story and experiences are inspiring and will be a gift for others. Work hard and share your talents with someone that needs to hear it. Embrace the uniqueness about you, as it will become your biggest strength and superpower. Pray often and with intent, and cherish every moment with your loved ones." So
Wow.
these are just some of the things that I wanted to share with my young self, I guess.
No, that
And
was
I guess
wonderful.
as a male, maybe even a Samoan too, growing up in our culture, in our society, you know, we're taught that vulnerability is a sign of weakness, right? Like I know growing up, my brother-in-law, like, you know, we don't cry, you don't ever cry because that's you're being weak, you know, and that's something that's kind of embedded into you just growing up your whole life, that you don't express any emotions or how you're truly feeling inside, not realizing that you know, sometimes that eats you up. Eventually you have to, we're humans, we're meant to have emotions and to have feelings, and that, you know, just being this shell without any feelings and emotions is not healthy, and it can really damage your mental health. So thank you for this activity. I was happy to.
Yes. And thank you for sharing what you wrote. I think that journaling is especially helpful for people who struggle to be vulnerable in front of other people, or people that are trying to work on expressing their feelings more, who maybe have struggled with it in the past, either because of what they were taught growing up or because of judgment that other people have shown them in the past. You know, taking a second just to write things out can be great practice, a great practice in vulnerability. Even if you're just being vulnerable in that you're writing out your thoughts or the events of your life and going through and reading it again to yourself, you're being vulnerable with yourself, which is a great step in the right direction of slowly being more vulnerable with the people you love and people around you, which can only serve to make your relationship stronger and help you to heal, you know? So thank you so much for sharing, though. I really appreciate it. And I think that there's a bigger discussion going on now in the world about men's mental health, because it is such a horrible issue, men not feeling like they can reach out to others for emotional, like when they're in emotional distress or in crisis. You know, men have a higher rate of suicide than women do, things like this. There's these huge men's mental health issues going on. And thank you so much for sharing and joining this conversation. All right, is there anyone else, any comments or questions, or anyone want to share what they wrote?
I guess I'll just say something.
Of course.
Well, thank you so much, Mary. I just wanted well, I give you know, this activity was very great. I did write something to my old self, but I don't feel like I'm going to share it right now.
Okay.
But what I wanted to say was that, I mean, this activity was very therapeutic for me. I mean, I guess I haven't done this in a while. I used to keep a journal a long time ago, but I lost it and I never started writing again. But I think that, you know, I don't know much about your program, this Malanga Creative company or whatever, but it sounds great. And I think that, you know, American Samoa needs more writing. We have very poor writing, what do I want to say? Maybe you can say it better, but we don't have enough writing in general. I mean, in any forms, and you know, writing can. You know, I'm an English teacher, instructor at at the community college, and you know, I see a lot of writing, but it's a lot of our writing is focused on academic writing. We don't have a lot of space for creative writing. I mean, we do try to incorporate it, but we have to stay within our curriculum and have them write essays and academic APA format and whatnot, which is fine. But I think that I want to incorporate more of what your program is about, and I think that from a community standpoint that hopefully your program and what you're doing can be more promoted. I think that everybody should write, whether it's stories or fiction or nonfiction, and even their own stories that can be written anonymously and to share for people to heal and to learn. And we don't have enough new literature for American Samoa people, our own literature written by our own people. So it's very, I think it's a good place to start. I do hope that you and your program will, take the lead and help inspire like a writers guild here in American Samoa, where we can start to write. We can write stories. We can write scripts for plays, scripts for movies, TV shows. Where is that? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing in that avenue, in that range that really needs? It all comes down to writing. Writing is very it's an unappreciated skill or unappreciated talent or skill that we don't give enough attention. So I think that that's wonderful that your Malanga Creative Company is, starting it, and hopefully it will work to inspire and also hopefully have a lot of good product or results. And I think it'll be healthy for everybody. But thank you for the opportunity. I just wanted to comment on that. And I do hope that I can work together with you. Maybe you could come and do a workshop with my impact group or even my college students from your with your ideas and stuff. So I will be in touch with you, and I hope that you can also get more out in the community to be more active in the writing scene. But thanks again, and I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Jaylene. I think that, writing has been so much of my life for so long, and these workshops that I'm doing, I just started my small business this year, and these workshops I'm doing, I'm doing healing through writing with the Alliance. I'm doing like a writing for wellness workshop with, some other, businesses and, I'm government organizations and things like that. And I always start the workshop with, I'm not your high school English teacher. I'm not going to walk around the room and judge you for your grammar. I'm not going to tell you that you wrote in incomplete sentences. I'm not going to make you read the entirety of what you wrote for everyone to listen to. I just want you to write. And that's how I always start every workshop, because I think so many people, they reach adulthood and they just decide that because they hated English class in high school, or because someone told them they weren't a good writer once, they're just never going to write ever again or avoid it at all costs. And I think writing is very important to me. And I think that my main goal is just to help people see the benefits of writing. Whether anyone reads what you wrote or not, there's still benefits. I'd love to someday do like creative writing workshops. We do some poetry with the Alliance, but I'd love to do some fiction writing and things like that. But yeah, my main goal is just to kind of get people to see writing beyond writing book reports, beyond writing their quarterly report for work, and see it as a creative expression and see the benefits of it. And yeah, I'd love to work with you. Yeah, you can email me. Please reach out. I'd love to hear from you. All right. Anyone else? Oh, hey, Lake.
Thank you, Mary, for helping us all center ourselves again after everything we've learned. And the writing method that you have suggested in order to get our voice or thoughts out in any way is just greatly appreciated. Everyone's showing a lot of gratitude on your presentation, and that's really awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was so nice to be invited to be a part of this, and I'm so impressed by all the work that the Alliance's interns have done. Thank you so much. Okay.
Now we will move along. Ms. Andrea?
All right. Now is the time for our breakout discussions. Everyone will be sorted into different breakout rooms, which you will receive an invite to join on your screen. Don't go anywhere for the time being, though, as the only action required for this part is to accept your invitation of your breakout room number. The discussion is the opportunity for everyone to voice and learn of our different perspectives in regards to the central topic, victim blaming. We hope everyone would gladly participate in this.
Okay. Well, welcome back to the main room, everyone, and I hope that you have all enjoyed your discussions. Before we end, I would like to share some kind words that would hopefully keep your spirits up for the rest of the day, and hopefully these words can motivate to do the numerous things you have planned out for today. And before I begin, I would like for you all to close your eyes, get comfortable, and should I dare say, please don't fall asleep during this process. Thank you. As your eyes are closed, start imagining yourself in the place or at a time where you are at your very best, whether it be in bed, in church, during your chores, with a lover, with family, anywhere that you find yourself being the very best that you believe you can be. Now, listen carefully. You are happy to be you. You have faith in your abilities. You will take action and accomplish your goals. Today, you will succeed. Again, listen carefully. You are happy to be you. You have faith in your abilities. You will take action and accomplish your goals. Today, you will succeed. Now you may open your eyes, and as you are opening your eyes, feel yourself become stronger and better, and believe that you are. Thank you, everyone, for allowing me to try my best to empower you all in hopes that you're able to finish today with a great big smile.
Thank you to everyone who joined us today for the 2023 Virtual Youth Summit. I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to the speakers. Thank you, Patrick Tia Reed, Dr. Queenie Tuao, Jaylene Chan, and Mary Ann Peck for being part of this program and sharing all the different aspects of victim blaming and how we can change mindsets to better support our victims. Thank you to Saono and Nessie for your spiritual words, and thank you, Ms. Jennifer Tufayono, for our opening remarks. Thank you again to those who are interested enough to join us today. We hope you've enjoyed and learned from this experience and plan to utilize the knowledge you gained to better support our victims and prevent victim blaming. Bye, everyone.